quick story, because of the news, I have to tell you about this. I've been working as a contractor with the USDA now for almost a year. It'll be a year in October. And just the other day, I was given access to the Azure system. They've got this huge account with Azure or Microsoft Shop, and they said, here, go play around. You know, we're going to the cloud eventually. Let's get it all figured out. And I'm in there, and I'm messing around, and I'm doing my thing. And I create a bunch of resources. And I create a bunch of resource groups. And I'm thinking, you know, this is our dev test Azure, right? I can just do whatever I need to. So I go in and I create a bunch of stuff. And the next day, you know, I mean, it costs money, so I go and delete everything. And then a few minutes later, I'm seeing a few emails popping up, and I'm like, oh, it looks like there's an outage somewhere. And I'm doing my thing, and everything's just hunky-dory, and there's no problem whatsoever, and a couple more emails. And then I get a phone call from my boss. He's like, Dave, did you delete anything in Azure? Oh, yeah, I deleted the stuff I created. No, you deleted the store symbol. So after I picked myself up off the floor, I said, Ray, I thought this was dev test. He goes, no, we had some production stuff in there. Would have been good to know. It all worked out. I was not fired. But there's just another example of how your processes are important. It is very important that A, you make sure that everything's protected. B, when you give someone access to something, tell them what they got. That was my personal learning experience recently with outages. But thankfully, I work at a wonderful place for a bunch of wonderful people, and they totally understood. And it was fixed in a couple hours. So kudos to Microsoft for getting that fixed out pretty fast. So, who was here last August 31st for the VML where I talked about DevOps Katas for the first time? Cool, all right. Well, now that you know what DevOps are, right, DevOps is, let's talk about what DevOps Katas are. So is anyone here familiar with software craftsmanship, kind of in general? Ever heard of like Project Euler, that kind of thing? Okay, cool. Well, then good, because I promise I won't kill you with slideware. Let's talk about what katas are, right? So the concept of a kata starts with martial arts. I'm not going to do my Taekwondo forms up here. This is more documentary than comedy. So a kata in martial arts is a form, a set of motions that you do over and over and over again. And your stances and your hand movements and everything has to be just so. And as a beginner, you do it over and over and over again to develop that muscle memory. And you make little teeny improvements over time, each time you execute those movements. If you're familiar with DevOps, you've probably heard of the term Kaizen. That's another concept that comes over from Toyota production system, that kind of thing. So that's what it is. It's Kaizen. It's about continuous improvement, constantly making small adjustments to get better. The software craftsmanship movement, which kind of has its own little manifesto, which talks about practicing software development. In many cases, I know this was true for me before I discovered software craftsmanship, you learn what a variable is, you learn what a stack is, you learn what FIFO means, and then you're kind of done, right? Okay, I'm good. I'm going to go write code now. I'm not going to ever actually study this again. I'm not actually going to practice it. Well, that doesn't work out so well. If you actually take one little problem, sorting a list, doing something very basic, you know, figuring out the big indentation for a function or something, if you practice and you take one small little task and you do it over and over and over again with the purpose of getting a little bit better each time, fewer lines of code, more, better, more efficiency, faster, all of those things, then you get better at it. And so when someone says, how do I sort of, a binary list, instead of having to go, Wikipedia, let me figure that out for you, just know it. You can knock it out real fast. So about a year ago, almost a year ago, I was thinking about DevOps, doing a lot with DevOps. I've been working with DevOps for about 3 years now, actually close to 4. And I thought, there's a lot of stuff out there, a lot of technology out there, but nobody really practices it. So what if we take those two concepts together, DevOps and Katas, and combine them together as a way of learning tools, right? Because I was learning a bunch of tools at the time. I was going into overload. I couldn't possibly learn all this stuff at once. So I said, let me just design what would a kata look like for Docker? What would a kata look like for Git and Jenkins? Well, how would that work? So I sat down and started writing them up. And most importantly, I started practicing them. I actually started executing on them. And lo and behold, I was actually starting to retain this stuff that I couldn't retain just by reading one book. Okay, I read through the entire Angular course on Pluralsight the other day. I don't remember any of it because I wasn't actually doing any of it, and I didn't have the time to keep up with it, and there were no exercises. So now I kind of know there's a couple things. I don't think I could actually recite any of it off the top of my head right now. But I can tell you how to list containers, run them, I can mount a volume, I can do all those things because for the last year or so, I have been practicing Katas with Docker and Git. The Jenkins is on the way. But this is a book that I'm writing. I'm about halfway through, roughly. And what I wanted to do today is talk about something very particular that got on the way. So, one of the things that, when you get a book on Git or Jenkins or any one of these tools, step one is, okay, let's install. 4 hours later, after you've fixed all the bugs and figured out all the crap that usually goes wrong when you install something for the first time, you actually get started. So one of the things that, a couple basic principles that I want to have with DevOps Katas, everything's free. Once you buy the book, you have everything you need, period, full stop. Not only that, I don't want anyone to have to install anything, frankly, except for the one thing. And in particular, when it comes to Docker, Docker on Windows, Docker on Mac, Docker on anything other than Linux is a pain. There's Docker Toolbox, and there's the Docker Beta, and there's the, you're using a different, is it virtualization or is it not? There's a lot of stuff in the way when you're using Windows and Mac. But with Linux, it is absolutely pure. There's nothing extra. It's just there, baked directly into the kernel in ways that it's not on any other OS. So I am creating an Ubuntu-based learning virtual machine. And it's actually, I posted the Vagrant file. Who does Vagrant? Yes, all right, if you don't, you should. It's pretty awesome. So I posted the Vagrant file out onto the Slack. Please, 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 just run it. That's all I ask. And if you'll send me an email at david@devopskatas.com and let me know that you've tried it. If you have a problem, I would love to know about it. If it works for you, I would really love to know about it. If it works, that's awesome. If it's not, it's Aaron's fault. Let me know how it goes, right? I need to know if this thing actually works for folks because it is going to be, the entire book is written in such a way that it's kind of like you're expecting you're using the VM. You can still use Windows, you can still use Mac, all the commands are more or less the same, and there's going to be some translation sections in there if you really, really want to use your own platform. But the VM makes it so much easier for a number of different reasons. With Vagrant and with the VirtualBox, you can have two different instances. You can have your practice instance and again, Katas are about improvement, about learning more. So I would hope that if you go through the book and you read the stuff, eventually you're going to say, well, wait a minute, what if I do this over here? Here's my list of commands. I got that part. Now let's go actually try something new. So the VM is a key part of the whole offering. It will be free. It is available now in a beta format. It's just for testing. But when the book comes out, it will still be free. It will always be free. And I would just love for everyone to check out. You can also go to the website, devopskatas.com, check it out. If you're interested, please sign up for the mailing list. We're making good progress. The Docker Git chapters are pretty much done. Jenkins is on the way. We'll be posting updates. We've got some other goodies coming on the way. So sign up for the mailing list and you will be informed as soon as those kinds of things come out. So that's about it. Looking forward to getting this out for everybody to check it out. Are there any questions? Going once?
When's the book coming out?
Fall. Yep. I'm hoping sometime October, November time frame. It'll be an ebook. I'm thinking about a Kickstarter for a print version, and there will also be videos. So it's kind of a package deal. But the ebook itself will release possibly independently of the Kickstarter, possibly before or after. I'm not sure yet. Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.